All right, guys, so I wanted to go through, I had Katie this week with her kettlebell snatches, and snatches are a tough one for so many people to understand. There's just so many different things that can and do go wrong with the snatch, and this is just another situation, another cue, a couple cues for you guys to help people correct their snatches. I'm just going to go over some of the key points as we go through this video. This is kind of a progression here, starting with the video on the left side. During the workout, notice that Katie was struggling with her snatches. She was really, the kettlebell was banging like crazy on her arm. She had bruises last time doing this. You know, I could see it, and I could see it in her face, and you'll see it in her face here too in a couple of these videos. But found something with her that worked, and there are a couple cues in here that may work for some people. They may not. And I'm going to show you the one that did start to work for Katie, and I think it's going to help her long term get better at her snatch. So Katie does a lot of things really well with her snatch. She has really good hip mobility. Okay, so you can see that she has a really nice hinge. Okay, she gets the idea. Couple of things that she's doing. She's casting the kettlebell way out in front of her body here on the way up, as you can see, and also on the way down, right? So it's not as bad on the way down, but still it's pretty far out there. Hinge is really nice. That bottom position looks really good with her snatch, but really the main thing in the beginning was, okay, casting way far out, right? So we wanted to address that first because that's the easiest thing to do. So we went ahead, and what I did with her was I just moved her in front of the punching bag here so that I told her not to hit the bag. And she could have probably been even closer here. So trying to prevent her from casting out, so just put them in front of something, ideally not breakable, in front of them. And as you can see, her casting got a ton better, right? So this is so much better right here. It's almost ideal compared to that, right? So much, much closer in on this second video here compared to this one over here, right? But as you can see, she didn't really correct her problem. She's still banging like crazy on the forearm, and you can see it in her face at times throughout this set. There we go. Lovely, right? That's painful. The other thing that you'll notice through this video and through both of the videos is that she death grips the kettlebell, right? So she's squeezing the bejesus out of this thing. That wasn't too bad, but you'll see randomly here, she's afraid to hit herself. So after that one, I think she's going to squeeze it a little harder there. So that's part of it too, is learning not to death grip it. So this looks better, but it didn't correct her problem, which is banging on the forearm. So her technique's getting better, but that didn't quite do it. So the last thing that I wanted to try with Katie was, if you'll notice, I'll go back to this video here. If you can pay attention, this is kind of hard to see, but if you watch the pace of her arm as it goes up, she kind of slows down, and I think it's because she's timid. She's timid because she doesn't want this thing to bang against her forearm, so she almost stops 3/4 of the way up, right? So right about here, she's really slowing down, and when you watch this throughout, you'll start to notice it, right? So she doesn't finish, right? So you'll see as she goes through, she gets timid right there, 3/4 of the way up, because she's anticipating that kettlebell banging on the forearm. And so the kettlebell gets ahead of the pace of her arm, so no matter what she does, technique-wise, it's gonna bang on her forearm every single time. Okay, so this last video, not all these are perfect. This is in the middle of a high intensity workout, which is a tough thing to try to help people during that. It's much easier during strength training. But what I asked Katie to do on this set was to aggressively punch her arm up towards the ceiling. And you'll start to see that when she goes through these reps, she gets more aggressive with that right arm, and she snaps that arm to the ceiling. And you'll see a couple good reps here where that banging on the forearm is much better, right? So she's still death gripping it a little bit. That wasn't very good, but that one was right there, right? So she's much more aggressive, punching her arm up to the ceiling. She's not stopping, 90% of the way through, and she's getting more aggressive at the top, and then she got a couple good reps in there, right? So just kind of recap what we did. We started with the easiest thing, which was to put her in front of something to stop her from casting the kettlebell out so much, right? So that what you see in this video here, she's way out in front of her body. So we put her in front of the punching bag and got her to stop casting the kettlebell out. So this is a much better position right here. And that wasn't solving her problem. So finally we talked about really getting aggressive and punching that hand all the way up at the top. And then ultimately she'll want to get better at relaxing her grip, but this is a pretty good progression for her in the middle of one session. And on top of that, a high intensity session, which is a hard one to communicate sometimes with the loud music and the timed intervals. So just a couple cues for the snatches. Sometimes one of them will work and just fix it right away. Whereas sometimes, like in this case, I had to walk through 3 different cues with her in one session to try to fix it. So, and you've got to take into consideration athleticism, experience, fitness level, all these different things. Katie's obviously very fit, so I could do all 3 of these in one session. Sometimes this will take a couple weeks for people, or even months, to be able to progress through these. Hopefully not, obviously, but sometimes it just takes longer than others. So I'd love to know what you guys think about this. Let me know your thoughts, and hopefully this will help you guys cueing the kettlebell snatch with our members.